And coming up now on the TC Rock Hour, it's the Paramore Documentary.
You're listening to Documentaries on the Cat.
For those of you who have no idea who we are, you're about to. We are Paramore! I should be over all the butterflies, but I'm into you, I'm into whoa, whatever makes it break, but I got it where I want it now. Ain't it fun? Ignorance says your new best friend.
Paramore are a Grammy award-winning band and have just over 3.5 million Twitter followers. But what makes them so good?
They're so unique in what they do. They make music that's so completely different to everybody else.
Paramore is a band that when you see them at a concert, when they walk out on stage, you can immediately sense their passion and their love for what they're doing.
They've been around for 10 years and they've always been connected with the fans.
Because they're so unique and different and they're not afraid to try new stuff.
Also, their live performances are insane and their relationship with the fans is just incredible.
Paramore is caring, Paramore is talented, Paramore cares about you most of all.
Paramore are a three-piece rock band from Franklin, Tennessee, and are well known for their feisty frontwoman Hayley Williams and their unique pop rock sound. The band signed to Fueled by Ramen back in 2005 and at the time consisted of Hayley Williams, Jeremy Davis, Jason Bynum and Zach and Josh Farrow. Their debut album, All We Know Is Falling, was released in July 2005 and reached number 30 on Billboard's Heatseekers chart. Before the band started recording the album, bassist Jeremy Davis left the band. As a result of that, John Hembree stepped in to take his role. Losing Jeremy had a big effect on the band, and the song All We Know explains the emotions the band felt about the loss. Hayley told Fuse TV how she felt about Jeremy's departure.
We were playing a showcase for Fueled by Ramen Records that day, and then Jeremy goes, "Hey guys, I need to talk to you." And we're like, "Okay, well, yeah, sure." I had no idea, and he's like, "I got a ticket home today. I'm going back to Nashville." And we're like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "I'm going back to Nashville." And I just like started crying. I was just so bummed. And I guess I kind of thought in the back of my head, like, maybe if I cry long enough, he'll change his mind.
After 5 months, Jeremy returned to the band, replacing John Hembree. Soon afterwards, rhythm guitarist Jason Bynum also left the band, and Hunter Lamb took his place. Pressure was the first single released from All We Know Is Falling, but it failed to chart, although it did give Paramore their first video game appearance when it featured on the Sims 2 console game in 2005. In 2007, after the departure of Hunter Lamb, Taylor York joined Paramore as rhythm guitarist. It was quite familiar for Taylor, as he had previously been in a band with the Farrow brothers before they met Hayley Williams. The five-piece then released their second album, Riot, which went platinum in the UK and the United States. 4 single releases came from the album. The lead single was Misery Business, which made it to number 26 on the Billboard Hottest 100 chart and was also the band's first UK charting single. Their final single release was That's What You Get, which was released just after the band cancelled their European tour due to personal issues. Paramore are all about their fan base and are well known for their meet and greet and fan experiences. Alex and Eleanor share their stories.
Hey guys, this is Alex, and I'm here to tell you guys my meet and greet story. We went in the room and I heard Hayley's laugh and I completely lost it. I was like, I've been listening and watching interviews for years and I'm finally going to be right here in front of him. And I knew I had to tell him my story because they really mean a lot to me, and they've helped me through so much. You know, even before my meet and greet, I could just listen to Last Hope or Future or When It Rains or Turn It Off and be like, you can get through this, you know, you are worth something. I got in front of them, and Taylor and Haley were talking to somebody, filming something. And then Taylor and Haley turned around, and I told them right away, I knew I wasn't going to have much time. And I said, thanks to you guys, I got help for my bulimia. And first Taylor was like, I'm so happy you got help, that's a good thing. And then I was really surprised by this, because first they told us not to hug Haley because she just got over being sick. But she went in for a hug and she whispered in my ear, I'm so happy you're still here. Those words have helped me through so much. I can go through a bad day and I could say, Haley is happy you're still here, Paramore cares about you, and they don't want you to give up.
Meeting Paramore on their UK 2013 tour was maybe one of the best days of my life. Like, it all felt so surreal. I can't even begin to explain how I felt, but as soon as they walked in the room, they were happy, they were pleased to see everybody, they were asking fans questions. I got a photo with them, and Haley said something nice about my shoes, and Taylor high-fived me and apologised for high-fiving too hard. You know, they were just so nice. They're not only talented, they're down to earth, they're kind to fans. And since, like, Haley's noticed me a lot on Twitter, and man, I'm so thankful. But yeah, if you like Paramore, you're supporting the right people.
In 2009, we heard Brand New Eyes for the first time, which topped the charts in many countries around the world, including the UK, New Zealand and Australia. The album gave us 5 stunning singles: Ignorance, Brick by Boring Brick, The Only Exception, Careful and Playing God, all of which were full of different emotions which could relate to everyone at some point in their life.
But darling, you are the only exception.
Brand New Eyes was said to be the hardest album that the band made due to difficulties within the band. In an interview with Fuse TV, Haley and Jeremy told us about the difficulties that they faced.
The first half of the process was spent here in Franklin writing, and it was just torture to sit around with all these thoughts that I knew had to get out, but like, how was I going to say that to the guys? You know, how was I going to sing Ignorance to them for the first time? And once I finally did, all the anger kind of started flushing out of me, and I was able to get rid of it.
It didn't even feel like we were making a record. It felt like we were just like really mending like the tears.
Despite the difficulties in the band, Brand New Eyes managed to sell 175,000 copies in the first week and was their most successful album so far in their career. In December 2010, Haley, Jeremy and Taylor released a message on Paramore.net stating that Josh and Zach Farrow were leaving the band. Many fans were shocked by the news, but some fans had already seen rumours on social media that claimed the band was splitting up.
Here's what went down. Josh Farrow and his brother left Paramore a couple weeks ago, and for people that don't know, this is what he said about the band. Paramore is not a real band. Haley Williams is a glorified solo artist and an easily manipulated one at that. I'm quoting his blog here. And he says that Brand New Eyes, which is the band's latest album, did nothing to bring the band closer together and actually made them even like more distant, and they left. So basically, he accused Haley Williams of being a solo artist, the band of being manufactured and fake, and just trashed the band when he left.
In an interview with MTV, Paramore responded to the Farrow brothers' departure.
Josh and Zach told us, a couple months ago, and so we've been, we communicated that, they really wanted to, and we really wanted them to write something to the fans themselves. And that's the thing, is the blog kind of threw that whole thing off, because people started talking, and they totally, had the chance, but we just needed to clear things up before things got out of hand.
There's been a lot of things said online, especially in the past week, and it sucks. I mean, it sucks to read it, but it sucks also to know that responding isn't really going to help online because things travel so terribly on the internet. So we really wanted the opportunity to show our fans that we're okay. You know, like, the three of us are still here. We're not going anywhere. A lot of kids are still asking if the band is breaking up, and that just goes to show how broken the communication online can be when rumors start traveling. So this is our way of showing that there's a future, and we're stoked for it.
I was only 13, and I was like crazy about them. Like, my world revolved around Paramore at the time. There was a rumour the day before on Tumblr that Josh was going to leave, and no one believed it at all, like it was a fake blog post. And then all of a sudden a blog post appeared on the Paramore website, and I just looked at the title and I knew what it was, and I skim read it, and straight away I burst into tears. I mean, I was only 13, but they were a big part, and I thought it would be the end, you know, 2 of the founding members leaving. Man, I cried for hours, but I think Paramore are definitely better off without them now. Not that I don't appreciate what they did, but I think they're stronger and they're happier now.
I was obviously initially devastated. I couldn't get over it for a good few days. I thought the band was over.
There'd been a lot of media attention that it was probably going to happen at some point, and there'd been a lot of tours cancelled in the past because of it, leading up to the That's What You Get video with the European tour getting cancelled, and with the release of Ignorance and quite a lot of the songs off of Brand New Eyes, you could probably guess that something was up.
They have a beautiful past with Paramore, and I still love them and support because they are great artists, and I think they should be happy.
I wasn't angry, by no means. I think I was just confused more than anything. Like, okay, you know, slightly scared. You're like, okay, what's next? What does this mean? You know, and even when shots were fired through the different posts, like I said, I was never mad. I was just confused because things seemed to be going smooth. Everyone seemed to be having the absolute best time, but that wasn't the case completely. So obviously scared, curious of what was coming next. But I think what helped settle everything I was feeling was Jeremy, Haley, and Taylor reassuring everyone, you know, hey, Paramore was, Paramore is, and Paramore is still a band.
I remember crying, especially when Haley tweeted that Paramore is still a band. That really struck me because they were not giving up on us. And so, as fans, who are we to give up on them, right? For every setback, I'm a firm believer that in every setback, there's always an even bigger comeback, only if you put your heart, mind, and soul into it. And that's exactly what Paramore did.
Both of them have continued in a way that's good for each other. Zach and Josh have both got their bands. Paramore have moved on and become as big as they could be, so all's worked out well, really.
Paramore is
a band.
Paramore responded to the Farrow brothers' departure between 2011 and 2012 by releasing several singles, including Monster, which featured on the Transformers Dark of the Moon soundtrack and was the first single released without the Farrow brothers.
I'm excited to hear another side of Paramore that we haven't heard before, because due to Josh Farrow and Haley writing the majority of their old songs together, it's going to be exciting and different hearing what the band can come up with without Josh and Zach.
In June 2011, Haley announced that the band had started writing their 4th album, and October 2011 saw the release of Renegade, which was released when the band set up the Singles Club. This meant that Paramore would be releasing a single each of the remaining months of the year. These singles would only be available through their website. Among the few were Hello Cold World and In the Morning.
Paramore are here, everybody.
I should be over all the butterflies.
April 2013 saw the release of Paramore's self-titled album, which topped the charts in Argentina, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, the United Kingdom, Brazil, and the United States. It was the first album that the band had released as a trio, and also their most successful album that Paramore have released to date. The album sees Paramore grow up as a band and delve into some new and exciting sounds.
Hayley's voice has massively matured, and you can hear how well-rounded and clear it sounds. Jeremy's bass has become more advanced, and you can hear how much he's learnt and perfected his instrument. As for Taylor, you can hear how musically talented he is now he's actually writing the songs. I feel the self-titled is clearly different to the other albums, but had they not slightly altered their style, then it would suggest that they hadn't grown as much as they have.
I think that the self-titled album is amazing because it contains lots of moods. Like, the interludes are kind of chilled, and then there's also songs like Now and Fast in My Car, and then Ain't It Fun comes on and you've just got to get up and dance. So basically, no matter what mood you're in, the self-titled album will give you what you need when you need it.
At the end of the day, I'd probably say it's probably Paramore being more themselves than anything really, because they seem a lot more happy now, and I would say that that's showing in their music, which to me makes it a very good album.
The band then went on to release a deluxe version of the album in November 2014, with live recordings from Red Rocks and several bonus tracks including Native Tongue. Music journalist Tony Cummings reviewed the album.
The departure from Paramore of Josh and Zach Farrow and the heated war of words between the brothers and singer Hayley Williams hardly did a lot for Christians working in mainstream music. As it turned out though, Hayley, along with guitarist Taylor York and bassist Jeremy Davis, went on to release the strongest album yet bearing the Paramore name. The sounds captured by producer Justin Meadow Johnson, who's worked with M83 and Neon Trees, is sonically thrilling, with Hayley's voice biting through the multi-textured guitars. On Now, Hayley howls, "If there's a future, we want it now," while on the song One of Those Crazy Girls, she delivers a tongue-in-cheek vocal over a distinctly 60s sounding pop rock rhythm. But the most catchy cut of all has to be Still Into You, where the band brings in some electronica flavourings to widen that usual guitar-driven sound. A superb album.
Good things come to those who wait, and that was definitely the case for Paramore fans around the world. Their single Ain't It Fun picked up the Best Rock Song at this year's Grammy Awards. Although the band have been nominated for 3 other Grammys in previous years, this was their first Grammy win, and rightly so.
My views on the Grammy win were absolutely sensational. I couldn't have been any more happy for the band. They deserve it 100% completely. For Paramore to win in that category, let alone be nominated in it, is absolutely sensational.
When Paramore won the Grammy for Ain't It Fun, I went crazy. And I just think they deserved it more than anyone. After 10 years and all the effort they've put in, all they've been through, I just don't think anyone else deserved it more, and I feel really, really proud of them.
Yes, Paramore's Grammy win. Oh my goodness, I was so excited for them to even be nominated. And it was actually funny because on the day of the Grammys, my friends and I were making an Ain't It Fun cake to celebrate. And while we were still making the cake, they announced Paramore's Grammy. And we were just so excited, we were freaking out. And this was just a huge step in the band's career. And they deserved it more than anybody. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations, guys.
Okay, sounds good. This next song is from our self-titled record. It's called Proof.
Following the success of the self-titled album, saw the self-titled worldwide tour, which included big venues such as Madison Square Garden, Red Rocks and Wembley.
And so, we must get this part right. It is absolutely crucial. And I think to do it, we're going to need one of you to get up here and help us out.
Paramore are well known for their fan involvement and even getting fans on stage with them.
when Misery Business came on, she was like walking up and down and she was like, I need a crazy individual that's been singing my part and all this, like, and she pointed at someone else and I was devastated. I nearly started crying. And then she was like, nah, it wasn't you. And she walked back down and she just kneeled down and she was like, it was you, and pointed at me, and I thought I was gonna die, like, on the spot. And then the security guard lifted me over and my two friends were bawling, crying, because they know what it means to me. And she bowed down and gave me the mic and we were like jumping around, and like she said I looked like the walk-in Misery Business video. She pointed to the box that she stands on and she made me get up on that, and I was singing and I got a bit carried away and I put my mic out to the fans. It was unreal, and I'm probably never going to live a moment like that again. I could meet them again, but I'll never get to sing with her again. It was just perfect.
In January 2014, Paramore and Fall Out Boy announced their Monument Tour in support of their self-titled album and Fall Out Boy's Save Rock and Roll album. The tour consisted of 44 concerts in North America over the course of 4 months. Parahoy set sail in March 2014 and included 2 pool deck gigs, activities with Paramore, question and answers with Paramore, and special guests Tegan and Sarah, Newfound Glory, and several more. Parahoy cruisers Ashley and Kaylee let us know how it went.
So Parahoy, for those of you who weren't there, was a 4-day cruise to the Bahamas, to the Great Stirrup Cay, with a bunch of bands, including Paramore. We had Tegan and Sarah there and Newfound Glory, and a bunch of other bands, Shiny Toy Guns. They were all really good. After we got on the cruise, we all went up to our staterooms. They gave us signed posters from Paramore, and then that evening, Paramore played their Sail Away show. Like you're having a concert in the ocean on a boat, and it was just a feeling unlike any other.
The whole ship was filled with just the most genuine people I've ever met, and the set that they played that night was so special. Nothing will ever beat that.
We did Paraprom. There was a Shiny Toy Guns show and a Tegan and Sarah show. The belly flop contest with Jeremy and Doug Benson. Karaoke. It was the ping pong championship. Musical chairs with Newfound Glory. Hockey basketball with Taylor. Pick throwing with Jeremy Davis. They played songs that they haven't played in years. They played Franklin. They played Miracle. Just a bunch of old stuff from All We Know Is Falling, and stuff that they don't usually play. So it was very, very special for those of us that were there.
Someone had an acoustic, and so we were all just like playing and singing along to Paramore songs, and it was honestly just like one of the coolest feelings ever. Like, we're all strangers at this point, but then like we bonded over something that we love so much.
Overall, it was just one of the greatest experiences of my life.
Over the years, Paramore have had great success in the film industry. Their song Decode was the lead single for the novel-based Twilight film and was nominated as Best Song Written for a Motion Picture at the 2010 Grammy Awards. They also feature on the Sound of Superman soundtrack with a cover of the Foo Fighters' My Hero. Paramore have covered several songs over the past decade.
Well, you know that I could use somebody, someone like you, and all you know and how you speak. There goes my hero, he's ordinary. This is from Matilda. Want your bad romance, I want your ugly, I want your disease, I want your everything as long as it's free. I want your love, 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 I want your love. Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars? I
Outside of Paramore, Hayley had great success with B.O.B. and Zed when she featured on Airplanes and Stay the Night. Despite the success outside of Paramore, Hayley stated in an interview with Fuse TV that she was meant to be in a band and would not want to pursue a solo career.
I mean, I don't think I could ever see myself with just my name, you know, in lights. I've never seen myself like that. In fact, when I started getting into music, I wanted to be the drummer. I was like, I want to be as far away from the front as I possibly can. And, you know, when people see me doing things on my own and, you know, photo shoots or, you know, the song with B.O.B. or anything like that, like, that's all amazing and it's my passion because it's art and it's creative. But this is really where my heart is Paramore.
Paramore.
Ain't it fun?
In concert. Writing the future. On tour this spring. An intimate evening of music with Paramore and their friends, Copeland. Tickets on sale now. More info at ParamoreDocumentary. Paramore. Writing the future.
Writing the future. Writing it out.
Hey everyone, we are Paramore.
We're Paramore.
Woo!
We're hitting the road to come to see you all around the States. It's called Writing the Future.
In January of this year, Paramore announced Writing the Future, an intimate evening of music with Paramore and their longtime friends Copeland. The band posted on their website, "We've had a very personal and hugely triumphant journey with this one. What wouldn't feel right is saying goodbye to this time in the band's career and not celebrating it with our fans in some special way." These US shows are currently underway and the last will be in Portland on the 25th of May. So, Writing the Future is in full swing? But what's next for Paramore? Where do the fans want to see Paramore in the future?
Definitely on Parahoy 2.
For them to stick to being themselves, really, because they're a great band. They're doing everything right, and they just need to continue doing what they're doing, and also maybe a few more tours in the UK.
I also hope that they'll keep selling out venues like Madison Square Garden and Red Rocks and Wembley.
So one of the things I'm looking forward to in the future is new fun ways to connect and interact with them. And I'm excited to see how they continue to grow and see what this next stage of, you know, their lives develop into. And if I'm hoping for anything, I'm crossing my fingers for Parahoy too.
I don't have any particular expectations of Paramore in the future. I just want them to carry on being happy and doing what they feel's right. I don't feel they have to please fans in a particular way. Just I want them to express themselves and keep writing from the heart.
Okay, until then, we love you, and we are you're on your own. Don't go cry, yeah. Because you're on your own. Don't go cry, yeah. Because you're on your own. Sing it louder.
Many thanks to MTV, Fuse TV, Brian Stars and Paramore fans around the world.
You're listening to Documentaries on the Cat.